previously on Fortnite Follies, the V2 saga. I absolutely found one. Prepare to clean my systems when I return. I need to remain in operating shape, and I don't want you to be vomiting when I'm nearby.
You also instructed me to try to find dual micro SMGs, the mission of which is showing on my heads-up display. Oh wait, searching the Avengers chests was the mission? I get it now. Oh, and there are the aforementioned dual micro SMGs. This just keeps getting better and better. Enemy engaged, initiating combat mode. Former conversation has been suspended. Reloading. Beginning second volley. How much more can you take? Enemy neutralized, gaining progress on my main combat mission. Resuming former conversation. And that's all I can hold. 3 of which resembled the droids that V2C1 commanded. Enemy engaged, initiating combat mode. Former conversation has been suspended. Beginning third volley. Enemy neutralized, resuming former conversation. Before that, however, I must report that I finally found Captain America's shield. Change strategies. Enemy neutralized. It wasn't an ideal strategy, but it did get progress on my main objective, so that's a plus. I wonder if I could get the objective done by attacking these henchmen. Yup. Absolutely. Fantastic. Now I just need to finish off the stragglers. Damage may be finished, but can I also eliminate them to complete my next objective? That one was knocked down, as with at least most of them. Now I just have to find and eliminate the last one, and eliminate them en masse. Shockwave grenades. Alright, I'm tired of waiting. Your buddies are going down, and you only have yourself to blame. It does in fact look like the mission can be completed by eliminating Dr. Doom's troops. Very nice. 2 missions for the price of 1 works for me. Oh, looks like I missed one. Bye bye. Thanks for being the last elimination I needed to complete my main missions. And confidently say that I've already mastered it in lap 1. What? How did that happen? Your processor, and focus on the practical side of this race. Don't overheat like V1D1. That's time for me to begin my racing operation. As with V1D2, I'm going to give it my best effort to win. Thanks to a recent update, I won't get overwhelmed like V1D1 did when Task Force Romeo was trying to recruit Jackie. Ever since we succeeded despite all the hiccups, Marty Jester reorganized the task force into the 1st Racing Division. The main change was in the chain of command, with leadership transferring to V2C1, who was the supreme leader of the Confederacy of Independent Droids. However, V3H1 is still the second in command of the division, thanks to her role in leading the division to success. Now, let's see if I can even make it into the division. That's right, this is my qualifier for joining the division. I'm at least somewhat confident, as one of the former members is now part of the Silver Ranger Corps. And by that, I mean V3A1, who now goes by the name Dora. Now that that's all squared away, let's move on to the race at hand. That whole explanation almost took a whole lap. I'm currently hovering between 3rd and 2nd place. In order to make the division, I have to place high enough to make progress on ranking up the SDA. That means I have to place somewhere above 11th place. I believe the minimum placement is 3 places above last. In that case, I would need to place at least 8th. That shouldn't be too hard, since I have pulled ahead into 1st place. Now, that doesn't guarantee a win, or even my qualification, as I could still be knocked really far back into 8th place or worse. In fact, I suspect someone is already trying to knock me back some. Fortunately, it doesn't seem so easy to get turned around anymore, so I'm not too worried. Yet. Now traveling on this winding bit of track. This looks like the home stretch, and I am maintaining 1st place despite Bro 2 Max being a worthy rival. I am just meters away from the finish line. Things are looking good. Last lap, 1st place. See what I mean? I'm doing really well, so I'm not even worried about my chances of qualifying. Now driving through the tunnel, taking the left wall of the tunnel due to the boost pads. Even if the boost isn't substantial, it is enough to keep me in the lead by an equal margin of my opponent right behind me, or however far behind me they are. What I'm trying to say is, I temporarily increased my lead before Bro 2 Max also hit the boost pads, or activated their turbo. Their driver appears to be Artemis, but I don't know if Bro 2 Max is Artemis, or Artemis's pit crew chief. Either way, the icon is obviously Artemis. I would know, seeing as how, due to a threat Justice Jester made, a member of the Silver Rangers, Bolerma, has been spying on them. From what we've gathered from bugs and scope observations, Task Force Vixen has 3 teams. Team Vixen is the original team, headed by the couple Drift Beetle and Polara. Team Olympus is the Pantheon division, led by Aphrodite. And finally, Team Rebel, headed by Justice Jester. And I believe that I have went above and beyond in my qualifier race. As such, I believe I can expect my badge within the week. Beginning my qualifier for the first racing division. I am V1D4, by the way. My predecessor has just finished her qualifier just a few seconds ago. Now it's my turn, and I'm held to the same standards as my predecessors. Therefore, I will attempt to place high to guarantee my place in the division. I only have to place 3 places above last. However, there's likely no place for complacency on the racing division, as I was told that, during Jackie's recruitment, there was a 3-strike rule. If they're that serious, then I can't be lax in the qualifier. And there's the finish line. Heading to the finish line at top possible speed. 1 lap has passed, and I'm holding on to 10th place. This is not good. The qualifying placement is 3 places above last. I can't get any lower than that in my qualifier race. I won't allow it. Jumping the ram. I have to make up for a big mistake earlier. I need to run this track as perfectly as possible from here on. If I can't, I guess I'll just have to practice more, and try again. Because if my predecessors are in the racing division, and I'm not, then something is wrong that I have to fix. I am the quality control officer for Kata Tech units, due to an amazing pump shotgun elimination that I made when I was first deployed. I'm similar to a human drill sergeant, though instead of teaching them maneuvers and weapons, I'm ordering them to show me how they do it so that I can judge whether they are functional, or defective. Looks like I have made it to the 2nd ram. Moving on to the rest of the circuit. There are 4 ramps on this track, half of which I've already jumped. The final ramp is just a few meters from the finish line, and this is the penultimate ramp that leads to the bend which leads into the final ramp itself. I'm now in 2nd place. That's quite the comeback, don't you think? The finish line is just ahead. Can I make that final push into 1st place? No, because both of my last-minute rivals did so, leaving me with the bronze medal.
Well, now that I've supervised 2 qualifier races, I believe it's time to start practicing myself. It wouldn't do to hold my subordinates to a high standard, and yet get rusty myself. I must prove why I'm currently 2nd in command of the 1st racing division. Well, that's not exactly true. The actual reason is because it was my idea to participate in the race to recruit Jackie. My demotion to 2nd in command was Jester's decision, and I accepted the logic. V2C1 is my commanding officer after all, so to so casually boss her around brings about the stigma that I am ready to mutiny. Still, the only reason I was bossing her around in Task Force Romeo was because she joined to keep tabs on my activity, and noting that I was actually trying to help, trusted in my authority to get the job done. Rounding the bend with the boost pads. This track has 3 paths that you can take, and unlike other tracks, you can switch between them at will so long as you're skilled enough to do so. If not, you'll demolish, and get sent back a few meters, often losing a ton of places in the process. It's for that reason that I advise you to choose one and stick with it, prioritizing the most optimal route to gain or keep a lead. Driving through the tunnel. I am bouncing around in the top 3 places, so I'm doing rather well, all things considered. I've been on the 2nd lap for a while. I'm truly glad that there are more applicants for the 1st racing division, especially since Dora left to become the Silver Range's navigator and translator. I just needed to get some practice in before my next group of applicants arrive for their qualifiers. I mean, fair. If Jester engineering models drive up to qualify, I could just cheat off of them, and practice that way, using their data as simulations. But if, say, a Kasha-Tech destroyer or Y-Labs model applies, then I cannot use them to cheat, and I'd have to observe what they do, and practice for myself later. So, I will need to practice between each group of applicants in order to keep myself sharp. I'm about to enter into the tunnel again. As usual, the left wall is the most optimal place to stick, as it has boost pads, whilst the bottom has 2 hazards. The top is some sort of grate without boost pads. While the right wall also has boost pads, it doesn't lead to a ramp with boost pads, but rather launches the car onto the same road as the one that the hazard path connects to. And while that's okay, it's faster to take the ramp with a guaranteed second set of boost pads that launches you onto a part of the track further ahead. Now I'm on my way to the home stretch, holding fast to first place. As a matter of fact, I believe that happens to be the final jump itself. I have 2 Tedbos stocked up, so I'm ready to use them if need be. Although, better to be safe than sorry, am I right? And that secured a first place finish. The racing lieutenant still got it. Personal challenge time. Let's see if I can place first 3 races in a row. This is race 2. If I don't place first here, I will break the chain, but as long as I still make progress on ranking up, it won't be particularly devastating. If I should place first this race, then the challenge is still on, and I will go on to try to win the final race likewise. So, let's see what happens, shall we? This is Festive Falls. This shouldn't be too hard, especially since the data from Task Force Romeo is continuously getting brought up. This will be too easy even. This is the home stretch tunnel. I'm in 3rd place, and the first lap is almost done. Like I said before, this is merely a personal challenge for practice. If I end up winning my personal challenge, however, I believe that will prove that I deserve my rank within the division. 2nd lap. 1st place. As I said before, this track has been memorized meter for meter. Every shortcut, every bend, every landmark has been analyzed thoroughly, and I take the most efficient route each time. Still, I do have respectable rivals in Forbidden and Covered Clown. We're now en route to entering the home stretch tunnel again. Covered Clown is still in 1st place. This may be the race that breaks my chain. Still, I don't care at all. As long as I make progress on ranking up, this challenge takes a secondary priority. Last lap. 1st place. I need to watch out for Forbidden and Covered Clown. Those two have proven themselves worthy rivals. If I were to lose my currently non-existent streak to one of them, I'd congratulate them on a ferocious race. Because we have been neck and neck for a while now. At least ever since the 2nd time traveling through the waterfall tunnel. Before that, I was struggling to catch up with everyone, passing Iron Tide and Charter last. Now entering the home stretch tunnel for the final time this race. I'm still maintaining 1st place, but Covered Clown and Forbidden are hot on my trail. It's going to be close. Extremely close. I've placed 1st. This has been the 2nd race in a row. 1 to go. Regardless of anything else, I got a lot of missions done. Now to check how much our ranking shot up. We almost made it to Silver 3. Well, here comes race 3. It's either make or break time here. I can either succeed and really impress Jester, or I could fail, and still impress Jester with 2 wins in a row. Either way, I'm looking forward to racing again and seeing how far I can go with my 3 in a row challenge. The question is, are Jester and my peers ready to have their minds blown should I succeed? I mean, I'm merely a heavy weapons droid. If I win 3 races in a row, I can do almost anything I set my processor to. Another ramp incoming. I remember this as the K2 Raceway, which D4 just raced on, placing 3rd in her qualifying race. This alone makes me ever so slightly less confident that I'll get my 3rd win. However, as I've mentioned earlier twice, the personal challenge takes a backseat to my main mission, to complete racing missions, and prove that the 1st Racing Division is a worthy successor of the legendary Task Force Romeo. Taking the next bend through the next checkpoint. Crossing under the bridge. I am in the danger zone currently, so to speak. I don't get it though. This is the track we had the easiest time on before. Why are we struggling this much now? I don't think I flipped into the outer barrier and demolished like D4 did, so something else is amiss. We are progressing to the final lap. Now in 8th place. If I can't pull out of the lower places soon, I'll commit to using every Tedbo stock I have. But I want to wait until the right moment, or it'll mean nothing that I ever boosted with Tedbo in the first place. And I believe that right moment is now for at least one of those stocks. I hope I'm right, but I won't know until the dust settles, and a winner is declared. I seem to have pulled ahead slightly, but I still have 2 Tedbo stocks left. I just need the right timing. As close as I am, if I time it perfectly, the win is mine to savor, being my 3rd in a row. And there it is. the mother of all comebacks. My third win in a row, and what an underdog victory it was. That has to give me silver 3. It has to. I saw how much it went up before. Come on, get on up there. Yes, yes, yes. There it is. Silver 3, at long last. We're now on the doorstep of gold rank.
Now preparing for my first race of this season, we appear to be committing to another large racing operation. I'm curious as to what reward we're aiming for this time, but it's not my place to question Jester's decision. It's my place to race and make sure that whatever reward it is, he obtains it as soon as possible. After all, that's what Task Force Romeo, and by extension, the first racing division, were made for. It's honestly impressive that one of our former drivers, Dora, managed to make a name for herself as the navigator and translator of the Silver Ranger Corps. Meanwhile the rest of us are in the standard divisions, some of us higher ranked than others. I've long accepted my rank as one of the lowest in the database. I'm merely a standard infantry droid after all. Anyway, enough about that. I appear to be racing in a setting reminiscent of our first operations during the Imperial War. If I were human, this would be nostalgic. However, we droids don't have the necessary programming to experience such nostalgia. The closest I can come to being nostalgic is recognizing the familiar landmarks, and calling attention to it. Lousy Centaur was right ahead of me, before I passed him with my turbo. I was in first place until Aim Like Idaho passed me. Never mind, he just veered off, giving me my first place position back. This is going to be a chaotic race, but with all my updated and upgraded systems and processor, all I can say is bring it on. Now I appear to be on a straight part of the course. My main rivals appear to be Totally Jeff, Ghost Color, Aim Like Idaho, and Alex. I can't really pronounce that the way they have it without sounding like I'm glitching. So, they're just going to have to accept the shortened version. Last lap, third place. Totally Jeff and Ghost Color are my greatest rivals, as they have managed to pull ahead by a significant amount. And there goes Aim Like Idaho about as soon as I passed them up again. Oh hello again, Banana Pastrami. I didn't say anything about you until just now, but you've passed me on a few occasions yourself. But, like with the previous 4, I have reclaimed my first place position. Never mind. It always seems to be around these bends that I get passed up. It's happened with Totally Jeff, Aim Like Idaho, Ghost Color, Lousy Centaur, and Alex. Just to name a few. But once I get to an optimal position to activate my turbo, I return to first place. Just like that. That was a perfect example. Alright, second race. Let's see what I can do here. After my big back and forth with my previous opponents, I'm ready for anything this lot can dish out. Wait, is this literally the same track twice in a row? What are the odds? So, this group includes Judge Fudge, Just a Bit Epic, Mega Yeet, and Thanis, out of the races I can presently identify. I have also completed a few missions, and received another few in their place. The missions were to get a start line boost of at least 50% in 5 races, and to earn 500 total start line boost percentage in races. These also completed the missions to complete Week 1 quests, and complete Week 1 quests to unlock the Week 2 quests. Apparently, the Week 2 quests were to activate 15 turbo while in a drift, activate 30 turbo bonus zones, hit 50 boost pads, drift or fly 75,000 total distance, beat 35 total other players in races, and travel 50,000 total distance while turboing in the air. Apparently, the mission to draft 10,000 total distance is an incomplete mission. Second lap, 9th place. At least I don't have to win, and at least I technically got a mission or 2 done. I just need to place 3 places above last, or I will gain my first strike of the season. If you don't remember, we have a 3-strike rule for not being able to place above the bottom 3. If anyone gets 3 strikes in a single season, they are out of the division. We're that serious when it comes to ranked races. Most of us were lucky to be able to worry about getting those strikes, as 2 of us, including myself, malfunctioned long before then. I only got 1 strike before being put out of commission for the rest of the operation. I think V1D1 had a similar record, with things coming to a head in her final race, putting both her and Dora out of commission as well. But, that's in the past. Final lap, 6th place. I think I'm safe from that aforementioned first strike, now being in 4th place out of 11. I mean, it's not exactly top 3, but it's not exactly bottom 3, either. I just shot up even further, making it up to 2nd place. However, I know better than to expect to keep this placement, as I have gained and lost places countless times in the past. I'll just say, may the best racer win. As for the rest, the best of luck next time. And I'm also talking to myself with the latter sentence. The way things are going this time around, I don't expect to place first. As good as I'm doing now, my average performance this race was passable at best. Although, I placed much better than I expected, in 2nd place. That is in the top 3. I've been doing good in the first 2 races, so let's see if I can continue to perform well. It looks like I've finally left the track that I raced on twice in a row. Oh well, it was clear that I was doing worse in subsequent races on that track, so maybe this may be good for a nice change of pace. I will admit, however, that this is a completely new track. I may have to learn the track from beginning to end in order to tell whether I'm confident in my ability to place top 3, or even in a respectable position at all. However, my current level of confidence is quite low, with how easily I just lost control. Okay, that boost in placement was a confidence booster. Maybe I could avoid a strike in this race too. I just have to avoid crossing the finish line in 10th place or lower on the final lap, which is easier said than done. I mean, I'm up against 11 other drivers. Not exactly the best odds. Even if I have won in the past, even if it is a free-for-all, I still have 11 opponents. Wait, hasn't Jester raced on this track before? I only just realized he put this exact track into my hard drive when I rounded that bend. Or, at least, a similar track. I would have to analyze this closer to tell for sure if it's the same or not. Alright, so a right-hand turn preceded by a wooden path to the left with boost pads attached, with some sort of statue in front of me. I just passed through a log, and that's the finish line ahead. Nope. This is not the same track, but at least I'm in 4th place on the 2nd lap. If I can take no better, then I will accept 2nd place. So, pass by the tents here, and turn left, then right. Then there's a straight path through more tents and jungle houses. Left-hand turn with a burger on the inside of the bend. Following that, another straight path under a wooden path. After the following ramp, a winding path between a couple of banana statues. After that winding path, I pass by the skull ahead. After that skull, round the right-hand turn at the tent, which then brings us to the large bend at pretty close to a 90-degree angle. I remember this from here, as the temple follows the bend. Following that is a ramp that leads to a huge jump, a right-hand turn, and a house-shaped tunnel. Then I'd have to analyze the later sections of track with that level of attention to record them to the database. Oh, I remember now, after the tunnel comes the wooden path to the left, then a right-hand turn at the statue ahead, then a log tunnel, then the finish line, and finally, a tomato statue at a left-hand turn past the starting line. I believe I have registered most, if not all, of the landmarks to my hard drive. There was a left-hand turn preceding the wooden path to the left of the straight track that transitions into a right-hand turn into the log tunnel at the end that I forgot to mention. And there's a mountain to the left of the straight path following the starting line that I, also, forgot to mention. Preceding and across from the mountain, there are also tents. I'm trying to memorize as many features of this track as possible so as to not only get a plan in place for placing at least above bottom 3, but also to help out the rest of the Jester engineering models should they come across this track. There's the right-hand turn at the tent. Directly following that, the bend that leads to the temple with a burger statue on top. New feature noted, a pink tent preceding the temple to the right of the track. To the temple's right, a harbor. To the track's left, a rubber duck and boat. Directly preceding the temple on the track itself, a pair of boost pads. I crashed into the roof of the alternative path within the temple in the form of a tunnel, forcing me into the tunnel itself. However, unlike most times when I demolish, I didn't lose very many places. There's the final log tunnel. It's all coming down to the home stretch. I'm in 2nd place, can I keep it, advance to 1st place, or be knocked down a few places? Only time will tell. What little time is left anyway. And I happen to have pulled ahead at the last minute into 1st place. I guess that'll teach us both not to underestimate me, huh?
So, we're faced off against a supervillain this time. Just the type of challenge a new and improved droid army needs. Alright, I'm going to be testing each of the droids since their update and see how well they hold up. But first, I'm going to scope out the whole thing myself and see what needs to be done. Alrighty. So, it looks like I'm going to land short again. Dadgummit. Alright, whatever. So, let's go on ahead and, okay. Alright, Castle Doom. I'll be going in through the front gate. Usually not something that the usual special ops team does in order to break in, but maybe expect something like that. So, I'm just going to go through the front door anyway, and just hope it sticks. Alright, so time to track it, and let's go. Okay, Hyper SMG. Okay, an arsenal. An armory. So that's a pistol, a SMG, well, assault rifle actually. Then a shotgun and a SMG. Okay. Well, you know what? If I'm going to do anything, I might as well get a assault rifle, right? Okay, what's this? A purple SMG and a hoverjet. Okay. Okay. Somebody's here. Okay. 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 Oh. Oh boy. Okay. Take you down. Alright. So, damage enemy players while aiming down sights. Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. Alright. Huh. Wow. Really? Okay. Doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like it should be that early, and it doesn't seem like it should be that soon that he's able to get that. So, oh well, you know what? I'm just gonna clip it anyway.